I research and design playgrounds for a living. People love that a job like this exists. But I have a secret. I hate taking my kids to the playground. And for most parents out there, if you're being completely honest with yourself, I bet that you do, too. Playgrounds in America used to look like this. They were epic and memorable. It was definitely an only the strong survive kind of scenario. But as you know, playgrounds today do not look like this. Now, they are places of containment, where play is forced into prescribed patterns of climb up, slide down. My kids get bored within 5 minutes in spaces like this. Also, where am I in this image? As the person that takes the kids to the playground, where do I sit? What do I do? According to this, my job is to be the wet blanket. I am the one deputized to control play in this setting, to remind kids not to run, to push, to use the equipment improperly, whatever that means. We're still, as these spaces, an integral part of our neighborhood fabric, aren't even for a majority of us. Unless you are a child or you have a child yourself, you are not welcome here. It is assumed that once you cross that magical threshold of 13, if you hang out at a playground, you are either loitering or you're waiting for the perfect opportunity to snatch a child. This, despite the fact that your kid is 4 times more likely to be struck by lightning than to be kidnapped by a stranger in a public place. So why and how have we ended up here? Are our playgrounds a result of our overprotective nature, our litigious society, our lack of imagination? Or am I the only one that thinks of the playground as a punishment for being a parent? A few years ago, my family was asked to move from Philadelphia to London. I left my career running a research lab in order to take care of my 1-year-old full-time. Playgrounds soon became our favorite destination. Day in, day out, we went to ones all across the city, and everyone we went to blew me away. Not only was there not a plastic slide or rubber surface in sight, but they made me feel like I belonged. They seemed to understand that just because I grew up, that doesn't mean that I don't want to play. We discovered places like this with its massive tree houses and climbing nets. I mean, this was the coolest place I have ever seen. I saw grown men light up when they saw this thing and race each other to the top. Or this concrete mountain with slides so tall and fast, I actually had to give myself a little pep talk before trying them out. And yet, 4-year-olds were gleefully scrambling up the face of this mountain, organizing a bucket brigade of sand to the top to help themselves go just a little bit faster. With every playground we visited, I kept wondering, why? Why are the playgrounds here so much cooler, so much more adventurous than the ones I was used to? Do the British play differently than Americans? Maybe they're just a hardier bunch. None of the kids around me batted an eye when they went down that slide. Was it the playgrounds that made them that way, or the other way around? So I decided to find out. I put my research hat back on, and together with my assistant, we began visiting the best playgrounds we could find. We went to 45 altogether, and we picked the top 16 to study. Earlier in my career, I had done observational studies of behavior in public space, so I adapted that research for this project. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., my daughter was in playground heaven, while I collected data on the play habits of over 18,000 people in just under 6 months. It took me over a year to sort through all the data I had collected, and what I found so interesting was not about the kids. Kids in the UK play basically the same as kids in the US. What was so striking to me was actually about the grown-ups. The London playgrounds had an equal number of grown-ups to kids. When I shared this finding, people thought that it was an anomaly. They assumed that it was cultural, that maybe the British just like being outside more than those in the US. But then I was asked to replicate the study in New York City. We looked at 23 playgrounds and more than 7,000 people, and the findings were the same. Playgrounds serve adults at a 1-to-1 ratio as kids. And that was the light bulb moment. Because ultimately, who chooses the playground? Who takes the kids to the playground? And then, once they're there, what do they do in the playground? And now I knew that I was not alone with hating the playground. The experience for most American parents is this: the playground is a diversion and a duty, but not a joy. They are just not spaces that you want to spend quality time in. But the playgrounds in London, the parents were active. They were playing, not interfering or helicoptering, but playing. The playgrounds seemed to just invite them to let go and play. Now, letting go means something different for different people. For some, it means breaking the rules. For others, it means being active, maybe getting in a workout while your kid is occupied. But for most, it means making life just a little bit easier. The London playgrounds seem to say, listen, being a parent is tough. We get that. Why don't you have a cup of coffee and a rest in the shade? Almost every playground we visited had a coffee shop either attached or within walking distance. Also, did you just spend hours trying to get to the playground? Did you survive epic tantrums about wearing coats and shoes? Struggled with heavy bags and strollers, only to get to the playground and hear that fateful small voice saying, "I have to pee." Don't worry, the London playgrounds have bathrooms for you, with changing tables in both the women's and the men's restroom. They get that guys might need to change a diaper too. Playgrounds don't have to be billboards to safety, fenced-off spaces for kids only. We found that when adults are supported, they start to play too. This elderly woman did not come with kids or grandkids of her own, but she took a walk daily in St. James Park. Each day she would come in wearing gloves and carrying a small handbag, and she would boulder hop, using the fence as support. To think that we could all be this active and full of life in our 80s. Others are just attracted to the joy of play. This man set up his picnic in the middle of the playground and ended up napping for hours while kids ran around and sometimes even jumped over him. Some are attracted to the sounds of play. Tables near playgrounds filled quickly on lunch breaks, and shouts of laughter would bring smiles to the faces of the workers that would eat their sandwiches nearby. So what exactly is the difference between playgrounds we dread visiting and playgrounds we love, and why does it even matter? By 2035, for the first time in US history, there will be more people over the age of 65 than under the age of 18. We are aging as a society and not gracefully. We are getting fatter, sadder, and more disconnected from each other. So with this future ahead, what is the role of the modern playground? I think the role of the playground is to spark joy and to remind us, as George Bernard Shaw once said, that you don't stop playing because you grow old. You grow old because you stop playing. Playgrounds should invite play for all ages, helping us to reconnect with ourselves and with each other. Research tells us that loneliness can cut up to 7 years off of our lives. Our sedentary lifestyles are now killing us faster than smoking. And levels of depression and suicide are rising ever higher, even in kids as young as 10 years old. We have to give ourselves permission to play. When adults let go, climb that tall tower, ride that crazy long slide, maybe get a little hurt, they remember what it's like to truly live, to feel completely free and overflowing with joy. And when they let go, they give their kids permission to do the same. Playgrounds should let you get lost, so you experience the exhilaration of being found. Playgrounds should scare you in that scary, funny, top of the roller coaster kind of way. And playgrounds should let you get hurt a little bit, so you stretch your limits and you remember that falling down is part of life. If they don't, we're doing it wrong, because all of us need a little more joy in our lives. So how do we get play out of this box? A space so safe that it's actually locked. It starts with you. What are the barriers that keep you from playing? How do you stand in the way of your children playing? Can you change your perspective on what play can be? And can you say yes to play more often? Next, connect with neighbors and like-minded people in your community. Ask each other the kind of play memories you remember from your own childhood. How can you bring those back to your neighborhood? Many of the decisions about the design of playgrounds actually start at a grassroots level. It's okay to ask for more. You deserve better, and so do your children. The incremental change that we advocate for in our communities will have a ripple effect that can ultimately lead to a tidal wave of change. Those London playgrounds did not happen overnight. They were built on decades of hard work and research, design, advocacy, and the individuals who so strongly believed in the power of play. America is built on the concept of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Our public spaces need to reflect that, and not just for some of us, but for all of us, young, old, and in between. Play is a human right. Everyone deserves a great place to play.